Hello and welcome to more G4 Cube shenanigans. Now, if you haven't seen the previous videos about this machine, I'll link them below because this is actually a very special example of a very special computer. But today, we're going to, well, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be awesome. So stay tuned. Today's Macintosh shenanigans are brought to you by PCBWay. So many retro computing projects that we've come to depend on started with prototyping via PCBWay.com, in no small part due to their great pricing and turnarounds as fast as 24 hours. Just take a look through their shared project sections where you can find absolute gems like this amazing entire Apple I clone, so if you have any PCB needs, I hope you'll give PCBWay.com a try. So as I was working on this machine, I got to thinking what would happen if I shone a flashlight directly into the acrylic here, because this whole thing is surrounded by transparent acrylic, and as it turns out, it's pretty darn cool. The whole thing glows. That is pretty sweet. And depending on where you shine it, you can get really cool effects behind the Apple logo, kind of reminiscent of an old PowerBook. So I picked up an inexpensive LED controller powered by 12 volts and an adapter that gets 12 volts out of Molex into the little barrel connector. And it even comes with this sweet remote. So let's see how this works. All right, back into the cube's guts we go. Now, while we're in here, I think we should try to figure out this fan situation again, because as you probably know from the last video, it spins, but it makes a terrible clicking noise that kind of sounds like it's an IDE hard drive, which is kind of funny. But a lot of you had some good suggestions. Some of you said, check if there is something that the fan is hitting, and I tried to look. I didn't see anything in there. And I did try to manually spin the fan with this pair of tweezers, and I didn't feel any resistance. It did spin. So what I did was I got another fan. So this is a Cooler Master fan, 3-pin. And I guess let's see if this fan does the same thing. All right, the fan is standing on its own. There's nothing touching it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, see, the other fan would have already started clicking by now, so I think that this Cooler Master fan works, and that other fan that came with the new VRM module, something's wrong with it. So yeah, I'm going to stick this fan in here, and it's supposedly silent, and it seemed silent when it just spun up in the initial boot, so yeah. And of course, to get to the fan, we have to once again disassemble the entire computer, so here we go. Apparently I need to do a much better job of putting thermal compound between the two parts of this heatsink assembly. So I'll definitely take care of that, but let's get this fan out of here. All right, and we've got our new fan here from Cooler Master. We're making sure that the arrow points up so that the air is going up past the heatsink here and blowing the hot air at the top of the unit. All right, and now that we have the fan sorted out, it's time for the best part, the lights. So how I'm going to do it is this. I have an inexpensive LED light strip controller. I actually have two of these. One of them, this one, has two 4-pin sockets on it and an infrared receiver for the included remote control. And I'm going to power that with this adapter here, which just takes Molex to a 12-volt barrel connector compatible with LED drivers. And then we're going to connect these light strips. So the package of light strips that I bought actually has 2 light strips in it. And they are magnetically backed, which will magnetically attach to the case, mostly. Yeah, there's definitely some magnetic attraction there. So then the question is, what's the best way to install these? So this is no problem now that we have all of this space. So this can fit quite well where the DVD-ROM went and still leave room for an SD card reader. But we really need to figure out where to stick these light strips so that they will shine through the acrylic case. So the issue is, inside the cube, it's pretty much solid metal the whole way around, and there's not a lot of places to get the light to go out because of this solid container. We have the top of the cube, which has vents, and it has some holes back here, and it has the, of course, empty DVD slot. And the bottom also has some grates in the metal where we could possibly stick some lights. But this looks coolest when the light is kind of shining directly into the acrylic on the edges. So I guess we could do a little bit of trial and error maybe and just, see how these can best fit. But let's connect the RGB and just at least make sure that it works. So here is the Molex connector for the DVD, and we can just tap right into that. And then plug our driver into this. And all of this can hide nicely inside the DVD bay. And then our RGB connects right to this. Oh, right. Actually, we're going to need these things to go from these 4-pin connectors to this adapter cable here with a 4-pin connector. There we go. And then I think what I want to do is actually thread this behind the fan here, because there's a lot of open space back there. And it's kind of perfect to run the fan through. And then I'm hoping that the light is going to shine through the grate here enough to light up the acrylic from the bottom. So let's see what that looks like. Actually, I think I'm going to take the fan back out first, because that'll make this a lot easier. Okay, I've got it threaded through behind where the fan goes now. And the only difficult part was getting it through this little hole here. I kind of had to thread it through and then pull it with tweezers to get it back around the other side, but it's in there, almost like Apple designed this case for an RGB strip to go back through. So I'm going to put the fan back in, and I guess we should put this back together now and turn it on and see if these RGB lights even work. All right, so here's the back of the machine, and if everything has gone according to plan, we should get some RGB. So let's plug it in. Whoa. Look at that. That looks amazing. Got different colors. We've got our red, our green, our blue. We have different transitions, fade. Wow, look at that. All right, so apparently the cube is not happy about something because it starts to go and then stops. Okay, so what I've realized is that this thing won't turn on if the front plate isn't fully attached. So I reseated everything, I reconnected everything, front plate is attached, and I think we're gonna boot. All right, we're alive. That's awesome. Look at this thing. That is so cool. How many other cubes have a lighting remote control? And that looks awesome around the fan. I like this little perfect arc it makes. And I think that's going to look really cool shining down and hopefully reflecting into the acrylic of the case. So we have light coming out the bottom, sorted. But I also wanted to try to get some light coming out the top. Now, one thing that's very important to me is that we don't change the outward appearance of this cube when it's all put back together. And also, I really don't want to like drill into the case or Dremel into this or something. For example, to make light come out of the Apple logo in the front, we'd have to Dremel out behind it. And I don't want to do that. So I think we can get this other strip to come out this grate at the top, which, well, that inhibits airflow a bit, but it also might be mitigated by the fact that we have that nice fan down there. And since this is coated in rubber, it's not going to contact with anything. So I'm going to try to mount this right in here. All right, well, here goes. Well, we've got some ground effects. Oh man, and the top case looks cool too. Hold on, let me get you in here for a closer look. Hey, we've got RGB. Look at that. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with this. It is not over-the-top RGB. It's like a ground effects kit for a car, and a nice strip up here at the top, which actually looks really awesome coming through the gate here. And if I check out some of these different settings, we've got like jump 3, jump 7. These are numbered weird. Why does it go from jump 3 to jump 7? I guess that's the number of colors it jumps through. I think my favorite is Fade 7. And also we can just do a nice classic white, which is very Apple-ish. It's pretty cool being able to turn it off and on from a remote control here. Let's see. It's a little hard to get to the infrared. You have to point kind of straight down at the DVD-ROM, but that's okay. So there's jump 7. No, that's jump 3. Here's jump 7. Fade 3. Fade 7, which is my favorite here. And let me get you closer to this grate up top because that actually looks really, really cool. Yeah, I think that looks awesome, just glowing through the grate up here. It's almost like it was made for that RGB. Let's try some of these different colors. We've got red, green, blue. Some of this, I don't know what these buttons do down here. I guess these are all, yeah, just variations. So we can go with channel purple here. That's pretty fitting for Action Retro. And then looks like we can go up and down through different shades. Flash. Oh, that's terrible. Auto. Yeah, Fade 7 is my favorite because it just slowly and calmly moves through each of the colors here. Yeah, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, so honestly, I really love that it's kind of a subtle effect, and it does like just gleam through the acrylic here, especially at the top. It kind of does highlight all around the edge here, and I like this bottom effect, especially on this glass here. That's very cool on this glass tabletop. But as I mentioned before, I don't want to physically change the case here. I mean, I was hoping I could figure out some way to get like an aura around the Apple logo here, but that would definitely involve dremeling out a bit of the metal casing behind here, and I just don't want to do that. So this is a subtly glowing G4 cube, and actually it's not really that subtle. I mean, it's definitely, especially with the lights out here, you can see it quite well. I am definitely still a little concerned about heat buildup in this kind of vent here. Wow, that looks cool. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is that a problem now that I've got this nice fan running in here to have the light covering this vent? I'm hoping not, but it might be. So that'll do it for our video today, now that we have our beautifully RGB'd G4 Cube maxed out with a 120 gig mSATA SSD and 1.5 gigs of RAM, running 10.4.11 Tiger. But there's one upgrade that I still have to do, which I asked you in the comments from the last video, what video card should we put in here? Because this is still the stock card, which is pretty dated. And you had a lot of good recommendations about drop-in replacements, but there is one video card that a couple of you said that is pretty much the absolute max that you can stick in here. And I did actually pick that up. So this is going to be kind of a beast to get to work, but I am very excited about it. So if you're not subscribed, I'd recommend subscribing so that you can see this video card in action and hit that notification bell thing so you'll be notified when I post this next video. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And a special thanks to Sorta Eclectic, Chris, and Spike, who are my highest tiered patrons, and all of my Patreon supporters for helping make this video possible.